You told me the story of the war, when the ground shook and the sky burned. Of the ones that survived, who awoke to a different world, where the powerful prey on the weak. But that's not the way it has to be.
Well, isn't this quite the gathering of Horde leaders? What brings you to my humble abode, loyal allies?
Dark Lady, we've been discussing this matter very seriously, and we feel like we can stand it no longer. Some of your decisions of late have been cruel, heartless, and... well, look, I don't want to say evil.
You can say evil.
Okay, fine. Some of your decisions have been flat-out evil, and we, leaders of the Horde, have come to warn you. We believe you to be under the influence of a dark power.
Look, how many times do I have to tell you? I don't know anything about N'Zoth, okay? I've never even met him.
No, not N'Zoth, my lady, but Trade Prince Kotigwix.
What? This is outrageous! What have I ever done?
We believe him to be a bad influence on your decision-making, War Chief.
A bad influence? Listen, bud, I have made nothing but pure profit for the Horde side since I've been here, okay? Remember when we sold all the PvP vendors in Ogrimmar and how much moolah we made from that deal?
But now we have no PvP vendors.
A minor detail. And hey, who let the pander into the Horde leader meeting anyway?
My lady, we are also worried about the new Azerite market.
Hey, whoa, back off, bud. We are making some big margins on that Azerite, okay?
It is literally the soul of Azeroth.
So we're selling an itty-bitty teeny bit of the soul of the whole world. There's plenty of soul to go round. Is no one thinking of the shareholders in all of this?
And Kotigwix keeps most of the money himself anyway.
Is this true, Kotigwix?
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep most of the money, but I do most of the work.
You don't do any of the work.
I count the monies. That's hard work, okay? Because there's a lot of monies. Hey, you know what? You're fired, Panda Boy. Get out of here.
War Chief, what will you do about all of this?
Hey, where you all going? Hey, you know what? Fine. I don't need yous all anyway. I still got all the cash. I got all the monies. I don't need no Horde anyway. Just the lovely, lovely money.
Knowledge is power.
Hello Internet, and welcome back to another weekly reset. Taliesin and Evertel's Wondrous Wisdom Show, and I promise that we do have plenty of in-game WoW news to report on this week, like more additions to the new allied races. Oh, we got singing, we got dancing, new achievement mounts, the really cool loot table for Covenant of Storm's mini-raid, and a sneak peek at some other secrets coming our way too. But we have to start, I'm afraid, with that big... well, I guess you'd have to call it business news, really, wouldn't you? We promised last week when reports first started circulating about imminent redundancies at Activision Blizzard that we would talk about them more when we had more concrete details to discuss. And here we are. Because now we know that during the latest earnings call, it was announced that the company would indeed be laying off 8% of its entire workforce, making around 800 people unemployed, in many cases effective immediately. And truth be told, I'm still really uncomfortable talking about this even now, because we started this channel and this show because we like talking about a game, you know, and this shit is no game. This is real life people losing their real life jobs and livelihoods, and it seems a bit weird, a bit crass to me to essentially be making money out of that misery by giving a hot take about it on a stupid YouTube segment. A hot take that I'm sure no one needs by now, because there are channels that have already produced 3 or 4 videos on this, and that's cool. Everyone has their own way of doing things. But I have to admit, there's times like these that make me very glad that we have a weekly show to wait for, so that we don't have to react in the moment, instead having a couple of days to reflect and gather our thoughts into, hopefully, a more considered response than anything we'd have managed when emotions were still raw and hot. Because make no mistake, emotions were raw. In terms of human beings, this news is just the absolute worst. And as the severity of it began to sink in on Tuesday night, and details began to emerge on Twitter about not just the sheer numbers involved, but also the relatively high profile of some of the casualties, it was impossible not to feel absolutely furious about the whole situation, especially as simultaneous reports of Activision Blizzard's record profits for the year were also being made public, which didn't so much feel like rubbing salt into the wound as flat out taking a piss. The piss being full of salt because you ate all the salt instead of rubbing it into the wound, and now you are pissing into the wound. You were taking a salty piss into the wound. And it was... this comic book level villain ridiculousness of the guys at the top giving themselves big fat bonuses while laying off hundreds of the people that made it all possible, that is so rage inducing. And if that's you, if you are angry, then good, because you are right to be upset by the events of this week, and we will certainly indulge that anger in this segment, don't you worry. But I want to also reiterate something that has become a bit of a mantra on this channel recently. Criticism is good, but it has to be the right criticism. It has to be accurate criticism, because predictably another thing that we've seen a lot this week is people, purposely or not, using the fallout of this genuine human misery to try and prove correlation between agendas or points that aren't relevant, and that is not going to help anyone. So let's take a look at the exact details as they happen very, very quickly. On Tuesday, Activision Blizzard announced they are cutting some 8% of the workforce across the board. Now that means Activision Publishing, King, who obviously make Candy Crush, subsidiary studios like Moon, who make Ori and the Blind Forest, and the one this particular show is obviously most concerned with, Blizzard Entertainment. It seems that as far as Blizzard are concerned, the job losses have so far only occurred in IT and publishing departments. So that means marketing, esports, community management, and QA, with development roles pretty much untouched. I know, I think it's stupid that QA isn't classed as development either, but there you go. In fact, during the same earnings call that these redundancies were announced, alongside the company's record year, it was also stated that development teams across the biggest titles, which includes World of Warcraft, would actually be growing by 20%. It has transpired that many workers were actually told about their redundancies a week or so earlier and were under non-disclosure agreements related to their severances packages, but plenty of staff were not told until Tuesday that they wouldn't have a job to come to on Wednesday. At least that's in the US. In the European offices, who proportionately are set for much bigger losses, seeing as they are almost entirely community and marketing based, most employees still don't know if they are the victims of this wave of job losses or not, as complex employment laws kick in, which will undoubtedly give those laid off employees a better deal in the long run, but just adds to the torture in the here and now. And this behaviour from a multinational company at the same time as posting billions of profit is always going to feel heartless. It's always going to feel greedy, and it's always going to feel soulless. And that's because it is. The severance packages that full-time permanent senior employees will receive are reportedly okay, but a lot of those affected are juniors or otherwise for some reason not classed as permanent, and they don't have that kind of safety net. And that means people who I personally count as friends have lost their jobs, and that makes me incredibly angry, which is one of the reasons that I went off on one on Twitch this week. So what I'm about to say next is in no way, shape or form a defense of any of this shit, okay? I just want to make sure that if you are angry, which is good, then you are angry about the right things, because what is this story not? This is not unusual. It's not unusual for Activision Blizzard, who laid off 600 staff in 2012, a proportionately 50% larger round of job cuts than this. But it's also not unusual in the game industry as a whole. Even if you only half follow industry news, you'll know hardly a month goes by without huge and sudden job losses just like this across any number of studios, whether they be restructuring like Blizzard, going bust, or more likely just straight up sacking most of the team working on a particular game after that game has shipped. Well over 1,000 game development jobs were lost in 2018. Game studio employment fluctuates depending on development cycles, and game devs routinely are forced to relocate all over the country multiple times during a career. And it's not unusual in American corporate culture overall, because we might find Bobby Kotick's take-home pay of approximately $12 gazillion. I think that's right. I think it was 12 gazillion, give or take a couple of billion, something like that. Incredibly crass in the wake of these job cuts, and it is. But perhaps even worse, it's not unusually crass. It happens all the time. And here's what else this is not. This is not Blizzard failing. As much as we'd all love to be able to nod sagely and say, well, this is what happens when you dick with me, the gamer, by announcing mobile titles I don't like or having gay characters, this is Blizzard doing well. For all the talk for months of the company dying and stock prices plummeting and games not getting good receptions and God help us Blizz getting woke and going broke as a result, that is all bullshit. ActiBliz have had a record year and they are still laying off 800 staff. This has nothing to do with people voting with their wallets or Blizz going through tough times. These people losing their jobs isn't because something has gone wrong or badly. This is the system working as intended. And the thing is, if this isn't unusual behaviour for ActiBliz, and it's not unusual behaviour for the games industry, and it's not unusual behaviour for corporations in general, the problem is not Activision Blizzard. It's much bigger than that. Like I say, please be angry about this. You should be, but get your criticism right and keep it accurate. Because if you really are angry about these people losing their jobs, there's no point blaming store mounts, or Azerite armor, or Jaina's vest, or Overwatch's wokeness. Blame a shit employment culture in the US. And if you really want to stop this happening again, it's not going to be stopped by WoW not catering to casuals suddenly, or making the game more like Classic, or PvP vendors, or classes being exactly what you want them to be, or Ian listening more to the community. They will be fixed by proper unionization and legal protections for workers, which are encouraged and supported by consumers, and that means you. Gamers Unite has been a phrase that we've heard a lot of in the past year, and you know what? I completely agree. Here I am, throwing my hat into the Gamers Unite ring with you now, but how about we unite against some shit that actually matters? How about we unite to demand that the video game industry, so many of us form our identities around, implement proper unions and protections? How about we get angry about that instead of not seeing as much of Jaina's tits? How about if we really care about people who work in community management losing their job, we don't go losing our shit and demand that people in community management lose their job when they say something a bit sassy in a blue post or on their own personal Twitter? Ah, but I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Taliesin, when I say Gamers Unite, I'm not talking about unions, that's evil socialism. To which I say, no, you don't get to say collectivism is wrong and then call your movement Gamers Unite, okay? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Taliesin, I'm more concerned with consumer rights, which actually is fair enough. But in that case, A, stop trying to co-opt this genuinely sad news to score points for your own agenda, and B, let's educate ourselves on consumer rights, okay? Because a store mount isn't endangering your consumer rights. You finding a game boring or shit is not endangering your consumer rights. Some characters or storylines or general outlooks being a bit SJW for your tastes is not endangering your consumer rights. Even giving not a single shit about seriously anything you say is not endangering your consumer rights. Paid loot boxes with unknown drop chances for their contents. That's a consumer rights issue right there, I totally agree, but it's quite hard to take anyone's distaste for those particularly seriously when they're currently all creaming over Apex, which is published by E-shitting-A, and which is stuffed full of paid loot boxes. And yes, I know, it's a free-to-play game, but either paid randomised boxes with secret drop chances are a consumer rights issue, or they're not, okay? Otherwise, it's just a business model that you don't like. And hey man, I love Apex, alright? Apex is great, but you know what all this makes me think? It makes me think that actually we're willing to forgive pretty much any kind of shitty corporate behaviour at all, as long as we have some good games to play. It's a pretty safe bet that one of the reasons there wasn't this uproar in 2012 when Blizzard cut 13% of its staff was because everyone then was excited about the upcoming Diablo 3. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Taliesin, that's exactly it, isn't it? Where are the good games? It's all mobile and China and all this is connected, which is another thing that this is not. If you are one of those voices that decries the company that Blizzard used to be, if you recently got all teary-eyed about that old recruitment video that's been doing the rounds, which incidentally came out 2 years after they sacked 30% of their workforce, before the money men and before the marketing was more important than the games, then there's an argument that this restructuring is what you're advocating, because it's the marketing departments that are being gutted. The dev teams are being expanded. The people who sell the games just got laid off. The amount of people that make the games are being increased. Apart from the hundreds of job listings Blizz has up for developers for unannounced titles, World of Warcraft's devs team will reportedly be increased by 20% in this restructuring. Less selling, more making. Isn't that what you wanted? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Taliesin, doesn't matter how many devs you've got if the games turn out terrible. And look at all the pressure that Activision is putting Blizzard under to rush games out before they're ready. Look at BFA! And I say, is there really any evidence of that? Because even if I agree that BFA was in a bit of a state when it released, and I definitely would agree that Azerite Armor's failure hasn't helped that feeling, but if the expansion was rushed, I'm certain it had more to do with Team 2 not wanting to repeat the extended lull at the end of Mists and WoD before the new expansion, which seems pretty likely since that no content droughts no matter what OK attitude was pretty much the theme of Legion as much as Edgelord glowing tattoos were. But to put it even more simply, if Activision really are pressuring Blizzard to put out stuff before it's ready, quantity over quality, why haven't Blizzard released a game since 2016? Why will they not be releasing a new title in 2019? Why have they been allowed to restart development on Diablo 4 at least once and not be forced into announcing it at BlizzCon this year? For all of us nostalgic romantics, there being no new game for 4 years is pretty much the definition of the Blizzard way, isn't it? And to repeat, because I know I have to repeat this, I'm not saying you shouldn't be angry about the job losses and how they were carried out. You absolutely should be. I'm begging you to be angry about them, in fact, but it's important that we criticise the right things accurately and not distort the point by trying to shoehorn in an agenda. Because you might be angry about these layoffs, and you might be angry about the state of WoW, but even if the game was everything you want it to be, even if you played it every day and were having more fun than you'd ever had in your life, this would still have happened. And if you are so disgusted by Bobby Kotick's pay and Activision's blatant disregard for their employees that you can't face playing this game anymore, then actually I'm kind of on your side. That is a perfectly legitimate reason not to play a video game. But I also think any reason is a perfectly legitimate reason not to play a video game. It's just a video game. You may not want to play WoW because you find it really boring. That's just as cool too. You're not wrong to stop playing a video game if you think it's boring. I recommend you do, but there is not the cause and effect here that some people really want there to be. So here's my problem. I've made it pretty clear in this video and throughout the week that I find Blizzard's behaviour to be quite reprehensible in this instance, so how can I continue to play the game with a good conscience? Well, the simple answer is that I like playing the game. It's the exact same reason that I can play Apex even though it's made by E-shitting-A. It's the same reason I can buy jeans and trainers even though I know they're probably not made in especially nice conditions. So I guess the simple answer is I'm kind of selfish. There is a not so simple answer as well though. Do you remember what I was saying about the things you don't like about WoW and the behaviour of Activision Blizzard being two different problems? Well, the good things about WoW are separate from those problems too. The reason it's so hard to see these people lose their jobs is precisely because of how dedicated they are, how much they love WoW and how much they want it to be the best game it could be. That's true for the ones laid off, and it's true for those that remain. In almost 3 years making this channel, we've been lucky enough to meet a whole ton of people that work on WoW, and every single one of them, without exception, whether they design environments or systems or write music or novels or quests or make cinematics or voice characters or manage the community or organise events or post the sassiest memes on the official Twitter, every one of them has lived and breathed World of Warcraft, has played World of Warcraft just as much as me, has been excited about making new things for it, about giving us players new experiences. And for me at least, that shows in the game, and I genuinely look forward to logging in every day still. Bellilar brought up a good point in his recent video, one of his recent videos on one of his channels, about being careful as consumers that we don't form too much of our own identity around what are essentially consumer products that don't care about you like you care about them. And he's absolutely right. In fact, I'm going to include links to some other videos below that expand on that point if you're interested, because it's something that I'm actually fascinated by. And the interesting thing is, it works in both directions. For me, one of the strangest embodiments of the way that people invest in consumer products is how personally they take it when those products change or fall short of their expectations. It's why people get so angry when they don't like a Star Wars movie, because suddenly it's not just a movie that you don't love, it's a travesty, it's a conspiracy even. And furthermore, it's the fault of others who do like it that this thing that you chose to make part of your personality has been ruined. A prime example, how many times have you seen someone someone say, "You are the reason that WoW sucks" to other players on the forums. And it creates a mindset where it's not enough just to stop liking something, you have to believe that you were right to stop liking it because that thing is now bad or wrong. And of course all of this identity consumerism is also great for attention and video clicks, so there's always going to be some creator telling you that the fact you don't like something is in itself proof that your identity is somehow under attack. But you know what? It's really not. Look, this has been really hard to make, and I hope I've managed to express just how sad the events of this week made me while still trying to keep some kind of perspective on things with regards to what it is that we're upset about, or that we say we're upset about. My friend and former Blizzard employee, Patrick Bejar, wrote a great article on this, which probably does a much better job than I do, to be honest, and we'll link that down below as well. And genuinely, Blizzard people, ex-Blizzard people, if you were affected by this and you're watching this video, give us a call. Let's play some video games together. Yeah? And apologies to all of you watching. I promise that my bit next week will be really, really funny again, okay? You know, as funny as it usually is, whatever. Should we talk about the actual game now?
So, I'll be honest, it seems like...
What is up, Drum Alert Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news. Ray Diaz needs to be put in a cage. Guys, I spent the whole week working on this story because it's so important. It's so serious. This isn't some just internet drama. We are talking about actual crimes. On the last Drum Alert, we were talking about Ray Diaz, and we were talking about this audio clip that was leaked. I'm going to play it now for you. Roll it.
Right? Oh, no? I'm going to spin your face, no? Say no. Say no again. You say no again, watch how I smash you. Say no again. Say no again. Say no again. Say no again. It's always me getting hurt, right? It's always me getting hurt. Say yes or no?
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is it always me getting in trouble? Is it always me getting hurt? Is it me? What the f*** does she have to do in my life? You can't say, huh?
I'm saying that you don't have to be the only one that gets hurt.
It's not about you. Do I get hurt every time? Do I have to get hurt every time? Do I have to get hurt every time?
No.
Yes, I do. Say yes, admit it. Stop lying.
I don't want you to be the one.
But stop lying.
Wow. Now that is Ray Diaz and 17-year-old Angelica. And you know what? The rumors were that these two were dating. But I interviewed Ray, and Ray said that they weren't dating and that it was just voice acting, that the audio you just heard wasn't real. He said it on the Hollywood Fix.
As far as like the video that was posted, and I said there's two other people there, so I don't want to elaborate on it. Because I don't want the video that was posted on Angelica to be misconstrued because there's two other people, her and somebody else, and I don't want to name anybody because I don't know if people want to be involved or not.
Right.
You know, so I do want to talk about that when the time does come, but it was fake, okay, and it is acting lessons, and it does sound crazy, but it's called an acting bar. It's something that you learn in acting class if you study in New York City. It's just screaming and yelling, and I do this before every single audition with Angelica or myself, just to get the juice flowing, get the emotions flowing, you know, because there's a lot of roles that want us to be real, and instead of being fake, we just pull from a real place.
Okay.
And he said it to me in the interview I did with him. Roll it.
As far as that video, you know, there's two other people that were there, Angelica and someone else, so I don't really want to elaborate on that video yet because there was other people, so I want to make sure all parties are present for this question so nothing gets misconstrued and misinterpreted, because what I don't want to do is just be here by myself. I think the other two people could be here with me and we can come on the show and explain.
I know, but
because I saw what you...
I know, but Ray, come on, let's be real. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, even the girl involved, Angelica, she said it herself that it was just voice acting. Roll it.
So the video that my mom just posted, I want everybody to know that it was fake. It was just acting. So,
ladies and gentlemen, was it voice acting? No, it wasn't. Because I got in contact with Angelica. I got in contact with Angelica's mom, and I got the full audio clips, and they tell a much different story. So I'm going to play those for you now. The full audio, because on Instagram you can only upload a minute. This is the full audio of both clips, and you can see a completely different story. Roll.
Alexa, play Whitney Houston.
Why do millions of us play World of Tanks? Well, I like crashing,
Smashing.
drifting,
Driving.
rapid riding,
Ambush chilling.
one-shot kill, sniper shooting,
Executing.
tricky flanking,
World of Tanking.
Join millions of tankers. Play now on PC.
Roll it.
I don't even know how I got here. Today we really...
I gotta pull over. I gotta pull over. I'm fucking you up, man. I'm fucking pull over. I'm gonna fucking you up. I'm gonna end up punching you so fucking hard. You're such a bad person for me. You're nowhere near good for me. You're nowhere near good for me. I can't live my life with your mom threatening me! Angelica!
I don't know what to do about it!
Kill yourself! So I can get out of it already! Die! Holy shit! Because I'm tired of this! You make me a bad person! Holy shit! I don't even know who the fuck I am! I'm fucking shaking! I have no idea who I am! I'm so fucking scared! Call your fucking mom! Over and over! Call your mom over, Angelica.
Unbelievable. Now, Ray is trying to convince everyone that he's not dating Angelica, who is 17, but he was. In fact, he started dating her when she was 16. And how do I know this to be 100% true? Because I interviewed Angelica with her mom right there. And this is what Angelica said. Roll it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Angelica on the line. Angelica, the last time we saw you, you were saying on Instagram that, you know, this clip that got released by your mom was voice acting. Was it actually voice acting?
No, it was not.
Alright guys, so this video is going to be re-uploaded now, editing out a little bit of personal information that was left in, and also adding some context for the voice clips that you guys heard in the last one. I realized that I did use them for maximum dramatic effect in there, and you do deserve to hear what those conversations were. So in the beginning of this, we're going to go ahead and fill in some context for those voice clips, and then we'll move right on into the more personal information. So, thanks for joining me.
Look, Blair, I'm just saying that I messaged you one time, okay? Just to clarify that I didn't want a bunch of fucking discussion. All I wanted was a yes or no question answered. That was it. And I feel like I spread out my requests really well. And then, like, one message after that, you go and you start posting shit on Twitter, and it just didn't make sense to me.
Where did I say
still don't know
anything?
why you did that.
After the breakup? Huh? Where did I say anything? The first time I've said something is today.
On Twitter, Blair.
I've said nothing. I have seen your fucking Twitter and the bullshit you've been spewing on there. So if you want to fucking try me, Josh, okay?
I'm confused because you came to me on Discord about the Liam thing. I immediately got you an answer, and then I asked you a simple yes or no question. Were you talking ill of me to other content creators? I even said I didn't think you were. It was just...
The answer is no.
I don't understand.
But now it's
you dodged it.
Now it might change to a yes because now I'm going to have to protect my ass because you want to fucking come at me sideways.
And yeah, I do just want to say that it is fucking kind of funny that you accused me of wanting to do it for money and that I didn't really like the content, and then here you are saying that you're bored and trapped by the content you make.
It's about the boredom, you fucking asshat.
Look, Blair, I'm not saying that I was angry about the breakup, okay? I'm not. I think that it was good for both of us. What I'm saying is that I was angry about the fact that you were the one who proposed a collaboration, and then as soon as I was ready and put all this effort into it, you just kind of shut me down, and in one night, you just went through so many
witty Warcraft
insecurities and told me streaming wasn't going to work, and then in the same night also shut down the collaboration, which was something that was supposed to help us both. It just seemed...
So it had nothing to do with the fact that I go, oh, I'm moving, I'm busy, I'm doing shit in it every single day. The only thing you had to ask me is, when are we collabing? When are we collabing? When are we collabing? And it's like, oh, you're treating me like a fan, Blair. I'm like, well, perhaps, Josh, you should have stopped acting like one.
Woody would like to say that every time he tries to work with Azothan, he never shows up. He's always late.
I'm gonna say you don't attack me, but then you straight up fucking call me a liar over things that you are no 100% true in Misery Box's server, and then you come at me with the threat of fucking legal action over, again, things that are 100% completely true. I'm sorry if you don't want them discussed, but I'm tired of having you slander my fucking name. I'm done with it. I'm fucking done with you.
Because God knows why, because you're bitter about a fucking breakup because your cash cow fucking left you. Like, fuck off, Josh!
Alright guys, if you're here, that means you came from the last video, and it's possible that you have questions regarding the context of a lot of what you heard, and perhaps things that Illuminati might say. So, let's get into it. For the last 2.5 years, I've been involved in an on-again, off-again relationship with the content creator known as Illuminati. And I'll state right off the bat, she was the money man in that operation. Last year, specifically, I went through a dark time in my life, and barely managed to scratch out a living, even going into debt for the
Azothan begs his parents for money all the time.
first time in my life. When Illuminati and I were able to see each other, it was on her dime. And while I never once, ever asked for a single dollar, trip, meal, or...
That's not true. That's not true at all. Azothan always asks for everything. From my own experiences as well. He's always asking, can I have this? Can I have that?
gift. Those things were provided, often despite my protests and
no protests.
Insecurities regarding the issue. There's no way for me to avoid, at times, seeming like a wounded ex during this video, and I believe that transparency is important. I was.
He's more wounded because his attack on Zoom SF has failed. And now his cash cow, as Illuminati said, is finally fed up with his bullshit.
Hurt by some of the actions that will be discussed, but I have moved on, and I hope that people will understand that these videos will permanently end my association with this person. So I do hope that people won't accuse me of being hung up or clingy. This is an end to a pattern that I've hoped to escape for all.
This video was published on April 23rd, 2019. In the videos in the pictures I posted, there's evidence of Azothan harassing Illuminati's viewers, her fans, a month after this video was made. Let's play that part again.
But I have moved on. And I hope that people will understand that these videos will permanently end my association with this person.
Permanently ended my association.
So I do hope that people won't accuse me of being hung up or clingy. This is an end to a pattern that I've hoped to escape for a long time. So I suppose my first step is addressing the accusations regarding the community that I was a bit vague on.
But you're saying this, but a month later, you're whispering and you're commenting on her stuff about her and you and she's just trying to get away from you, and you're attacking her.
On in the first video.
You're attacking a woman. Of all things, like, you can't grow enough balls to fight a man, so now you go attacking women.
When Illuminati first began her rise in YouTube, it was fueled in great part by Reddit-based content, which, while temporarily lucrative, was not her end goal. Commentary is and has always been her passion, but this is an infinitely competitive person we're talking about, and she wanted to dominate the space while it was hers. An early friendship with Fresh helped mold her content, but also led her to believe that anyone else utilizing that general framework was a copycat. I listened to
Azothan. Sounds like Azothan and Witty. Sounds like Azothan and my Azeroth Wars.
endless rants about Misery Box, deservedly, Bumfries, and even Voicey here, being nothing more than mediocre mimics of herself and Fresh. Which leads us to the original step she took into the commentary community. Her call-out video against r/, claiming that he was using viewbots.
This has nothing to do with your guys' relationship.
What fueled this was her anger at being so quickly outpaced by another channel. The others were merely nipping at her heels or falling behind, but r/, well, he was rocketing past, and her statements regarding his content were even more scathing. Eventually, she utilized information and statistics provided by a larger YouTuber to create the video that many still remember. A video taken down not because she believed she was wrong ever, but taken down because she saw it negatively affecting her subscriber count. It was at this same time that she suggested I enter the Reddit.
Azothan just posted a picture that says, "Success and money follow you. I know you work hard for it though." And Illuminati's like, "Ha ha, yeah, I suppose. Now let's use it as motivation to get us off the ground together. Heart, I love and trust and believe in me. I love your trust and belief in me. It makes me smile so much. I mean, a lot. Thanks so much, baby."
Community to partake in the success she herself was experiencing, and offered me advice on what subreddits to pursue for growth. I was admittedly hesitant at first.
Are choosing beggars, are entitled parents, are that happened, are quit your bullshit, are petty revenge. I'm hitting the "hey sweetheart, love you, and talk to you in the morning, heart."
This was not the content that I'd been used to making for 7 years, but eventually I believed that I could put my own spin on things and have fun with it, and that it would allow me the financial wherewithal to finally be with the person that I loved. For weeks after this, though, conversations would revolve exclusively around her plans to continue her campaign against r/, from encouraging smaller channels to, and I quote, "continue the effort against him," to creating an entirely different channel, purchasing her own bots, and show that the growth patterns match, ultimately looking to spend around $4,000 on that endeavor.
Wait, let me read that for you guys. "Well, you won't be here for a little. It's probably gonna die down. And how does a server and he does have a server because they raided mine 2 times with child porn, attempting to DDoS my links." "He raided yours?" said Azothan. "Twice."
Around $4,000 on that endeavor. An idea that I thankfully...
She posted a link to a video. Something about r/ versus Illuminati. Hacking likes.
We talked her out of. I expressed it...
Kind of sounds like what Azothan was trying to do to Zoom SF. Using his community, his platform, to attack him.
General belief that she had become obsessed over the situation and really needed to let it go. That r/ wasn't responsible for the worst aspect.
She's like, "It's very interesting how they use their platforms to attack." And Azothan's like, "Oh shit, it's getting downvote bombed." And she's like, "Of course it is." And he's like, "Okay, I'm confused by the point of this. You're getting obsessed, babe. I don't understand big thinking." And Illuminati's like, "Come on, little retard. Let me show you what's happening between these bigger people." And Azothan's thinking in his head, I'm gonna use these techniques on my friends and family.
Of his community. Over the next 2 weeks, this would lead to a rapid deterioration of our relationship and the eventual end of it. I'm afraid that the specifics of our breakup may become pertinent in the days to come, so I will try my best to summarize and be fair. Illuminati is a driven, charismatic, and
She's showing a picture of her racing with another guy. Nothing's wrong with friendly competition. Keep it up, hun. Keep him in your rear.
calculating person who wants to rise up in the world.
Another thing that's similar to competition is USA, USA. And you don't see them calling that bullshit Azothan.
Fair enough. However, 3 months ago, I came very close to...
I love you, I want you around, I know you're dealing with your own demons, but that doesn't mean you aren't good enough. I just want you to know that. And Azothan's like, I'm finally heading to bed. Thank you for being patient and loving today. I owe you a conversation and an apology, but I'm thankful for you helping me get through the immediately unacceptable low point from me. Why would he need to be sorry? Yes or no! Yes or no!
Ending it all at a dark time. Over the insecurities that I would always be a burden on those...
This shit makes me worry about you. I just don't want to be a burden, but I see your point.
That I loved, and that I would never be good enough. A week before she ended things officially, we had a conversation
every single day. The only thing you had to ask me is, when are we collabing? When are we collabing? When are we collabing? And it's like...
We've already heard that, Azothan. He's showing his picture. I'm gonna release the first video on my new channel today. Well done, babe. Devil's advocate. Sounds like the day I beat your ass in the Battle of Warhaven.
I'll be ready to collab. But seriously, I'm putting out these daily, so any help and constructive criticism is welcome. Baby, give me love and validation. Love you, hun. I know you're probably just very busy, but this kind of feels like you're ignoring me. I just may be imagining this, so I'm not gonna try to calm my nerves. So I'm gonna try to calm my nerves. I hope you sleep well and had a good day. Also, babe, I want to collab with you. I love that. Maybe a video meme or something. He posted that question mark as it's way bigger than the others. And then it's a month before. He's posted the other stuff he just said.
Oh, you're treating me like a fan, Blair. I'm like, well, perhaps, Josh, you should have stopped acting like one.
After she had ignored my inquiries about...
Thanks for responding, babe. Just touchy since my video came out. And I'm just insecure, I suppose. I know you spent last night with me, so I have to have fun with the house and stuff. Just one text helped. Well, I love you. Hope you have a good day. So, like, he's texting her and she's staying the night. And...
about what she thought of my videos, and 2 questions.
Woo, putting in the high level boys as a fan now. I know you've mentioned Nerd City before.
About when a collaboration might occur. She informed me that she believed I would always be a financial burden, and that she could not accept...
There's something he's moving really fast. Sounds like you have an ally, Nito.
Burden.
Do you worry that it'll just continue the drama or fall back out on you?
She could not accept mediocrity
you have a good day.
in her life.
Thanks, babe. Shows a picture of Nerd City. And they're talking something. It's blurred out by Azothan, so we can't see what it really said. Woot, pulling in the high level boys as fans now. I know you've mentioned Nerd City before. Well done, hun. Did he reach out to you? 1 blocked message, 3 blocked messages, 2 blocked messages. It isn't really evidence, Azothan, if you're always blocking all the messages.
While in the same conversation stating that I was only pursuing Reddit for the money, and that I was stealing her style by using an avatar in my videos, and that we should just leave YouTube out of the relationship entirely from now on.
'Cause you won't stop talking about YouTube. She's trying to ask you how your day is. She's trying to make you feel better. And all you keep doing is dramatizing over Zoom SF. You keep talking about him while she's trying to talk to you. She's dreaming of you, and you're dreaming of Zoom SF.
I suggested she take a week to herself, because I genuinely felt she was exhibiting
We should break up, because I'm not getting enough money from you.
behavior indicative of wanting to end the relationship, and I admit that I was extremely hurt by her statements. I expressed that I wanted to stay in the relationship, but that I couldn't force her to. She seemed stressed out, and like she needed space to deal with all this, so I gave her a week to herself. And after...
Let me read that for you guys. I hope so. If anything, it's going to make the connections I need. That's after the fallout on you. Well, as long as it helps your channel grow, seems like a good call. So when would you like to collab? Should I just stop bringing it up since you seem to shut down when I mentioned the new channel? I'll try to grow it on my own. I'd rather have my partner than the channel. Block message, block message. I love you. Have a better day today and stay safe. Block message, block message. Thanks for acknowledging my concerns. You're a wonderful partner. Block message, block message.
Space to deal with all this.
Block
so
message.
I gave her a week to herself. And
have fun. I was already asleep. Gotta work today. How was your night? Block message, block message, block message. Well, I'm glad you're catching up. How are the wall baffles dying? It'll be interesting to see how acoustics shape up in there. Block message. Azothan heart started to call. Hopping in the bath, just letting you know in case you call in the next 30 minutes. Talk to you
And after not
soon.
hearing back from her after a week, I sent this text.
I was moving.
You can see her.
Alrighty, let's hash this out. I thought pretty long and hard on what to say and how to say it, so here it is. I love you. And loving you doesn't mean that I need to use you. It doesn't mean I need to control you. It doesn't even mean I need to be with you. What it means is I need you to be happy. And whatever series of events leads to your happiness, I will support, said the Azothan. Whether it includes me in your life or not. I'd really hoped to hear from you last night and told myself repeatedly I wouldn't initiate contact. But after 4 dreams just last night that you texted me and we'd make up, I realized that I'm not going to be an emotional mess until this is settled. 1 week of uncertainty is apparently my limit. I hope you're safe and well. I understand a lack of response to this is an indication of your choice of a couple days. I love you, if nothing else. Thank you for being a part of why I'm still alive. Block message, I figured. Let's say
Response.
goodbye properly
And I
at
called,
least.
wishing her
I love you too, but I think we both know this is the end of this. Because you only wanted her money.
the best and saying
And
thank you for all the time
her clout.
that we'd been lucky enough to spend together. A week later, however, she would warn me for advertising in her server. As you can see from the screenshots I provided, I did not do so.
Sounds familiar, Azothan. Sounds real familiar.
I merely mentioned in the general chat that I had been lucky enough to line up a collaboration with Liam.
That's cool. It was really sweet of him to reach out to me, especially since at 90k subs, me at his less than 100. There's no motive for him to do so. Well, that's just nice of Liam. Bet they want to be butt buddies, hopefully. That's the single life role. Gotta be open to new experiences. Okay. So, everyone doesn't know yet, and Azothan's running at all of her friends. He's running at all of her viewers, and he's whispering them all, trying to take advantage of the situation before they all find out. Sounds like some terrible stuff's going on here.
I didn't even use my channel name, I didn't send a link, and I didn't ask anyone to go watch it. I still do not know why this angered her enough to personally issue a warning instead of messaging me privately, but I do confess I was incensed. My following actions were pretty petty, and honestly, inappropriate. I messaged every single mod on her server and provided the screenshots stating that I had been issued an unfair warning. In addition, I private messaged a member of her
More of your attack.
server who had encouraged me to open up about the difficulties I'd been experiencing with breakup, and unfortunately I used an extremely unflattering word for female genitalia. Not my proudest moment.
Cunt.
I was removed from her server after she discovered this and had time to cool down. I would later call the Illuminati and apologize for my behavior, acknowledging that I had overreacted and did not ever expect to be added back to the server.
I'm sorry,
To
babe.
facilitate better future communication, she sent me a friend request, and that would enable us to discuss things on Discord and hopefully avoid further drama. I sent a message apologizing again for my behavior. Now, 1 week later, Illuminati would be the first person to utilize this avenue of communication to inquire about why Liam had entered her server. I responded.
What was Liam trying to do in my server? I actually don't know. He was up in r/slashes as well as some big YouTuber. I'm still trying to figure out what he's up to. They said they were recording content for a video. Yeah, I saw he got trapped by my bot. I figured since you were collaborating with him, you'd know. I'm talking to him now. So am I. I'm hearing that, Law. Look, I promise I'm not going to cause drama or Reddit stuff with you. And while I know you wouldn't either, I ask the same. I really am happy for you. I just want to try to grow this thing as well. I'm not. I know you two talk. I saw him trying to join. Okay.
Immediately.
I meant with other content creators. I won't mention you or our relationship. I know it's unfair. Therapy was today. I had to talk about worries or fears and was on the others. Objectively, I know that you're above that behavior, but anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope the rest of everything is going well. I just need to get this all off my chest. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like my father. And my father was a woman beater and a woman murderer. And he sounds just like my dad.
And worked to get an answer for her. I figured that since she had reached out to me first, I would broach a concern that had been causing me
You got asked to be her friend.
quite a lot of distress.
This is also month 03 21 2019. Keep the dates in mind.
The question after getting the answers to her own inquiries, and I expressed amusement and a bit of concern. Over the next 2 weeks,
And your lack of response is odd, but yeah, I'm building a PC right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I gotta do real life things instead of waiting to be your servant. It's a double barrier thing. You gotta be there waiting for me, but when I'm busy, don't you fucking bother me. Don't you bother me, woman. I'm busy.
I would occasionally request an answer for my stated question. A total of...
Oh, stop, Law. You could have responded to the question asked rather than being upset. I checked in an hour and a half. I'm not rushing you. I'm expressing vulnerability and asking for confirmation. Again, suggested by my therapist, instead of making assumptions based on limited knowledge. Please don't lash out or try to turn this into a negative. Congrats on your new computer. I'm happy for you. Can I call you later? Text messages seem to cause confusion or drama. It's not okay. What was it again? My therapist. I'm vulnerable. I'm the one who's in trouble. I'm the one who's hurt. I'm the one who needs help. And you're not helping me, Illuminati. Please come back. Give me your money. Please give me your money, Illuminati.
5 times. A very simple yes or no answer, hoping for literally nothing else. I did not attempt communication on any other platform or avenue.
Didn't attempt any conversation. My ass.
Believing that she had...
Headed to bed, sleep well, Bear. When time's allowed, could you address the concern I voiced last night? It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot. You gonna bump this? I have therapy tomorrow. It would be helpful, but no pressure, though. Sorry, I just want to be alone right now.
Left us as
Okay.
Discord friends specifically for this purpose, in case either of us needed reassurance or confirmation about anything. After my last message listed here, she unfriended me and posted this on Twitter. I responded by posting a couple videos on Twitter about love and heartbreak, expressing that I would not lash out in anger because I loved her.
I need some time to think without you constantly belittling me, telling me that I'm in the wrong, and trying to bring me back to your bullshit. I know you're trying to hurt me, but you can't make me forget that I loved you. I won't respond to the abuse with anger. I still wish the best, said the Azothan. And he's sending her a love song. If they don't love you back, watch this. Azothan started a call. Ring, 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 ring. You're cutting out. I can't hear you, robot voice. Please don't leave me, Azothan. And Azothan's like, yeah, I'm getting the money back.
I have seen your fucking Twitter and the bullshit you've been spewing on there.
She literally said sorry. No, he went back up to remove that part. Let me go check on it real quick. You're cutting out. Yeah, he called her a couple of days later, and she comes to check up on
But I
him.
would not lash out in anger
I
because
can't
loved
hear
her.
you.
I have seen your fucking...
Whatever her intentions were after this, I believe that they were to get with them ever again. Their emotional abuse and neglect and need... Never, ever, ever, not once did I ask for a single dollar or expect anything from them surrounding it. You don't need to throw a grenade into a room to justify... Anyone has the right to leave a relationship that no longer makes them happy. I do not begrudge the breakup itself. Merely
My
the
ass.
actions and statements surrounding it.
Then you sure as hell deserve a break from me. My emotions are not your responsibility, and I understand that you need to care for your own mental health, and if it threatens its stability, there's no need to feel guilty. I know you did your best. That's what she said to him. Because he keeps bringing up that he's in trouble, and he needs her. But he doesn't want her, near him, unless she's giving him money. No money. Yes or no?
Gold ate my homework. This is the title of the video. I really like this video. Asmongold ate my homework. I've never done the excuse of a dog ate my homework before, but maybe I should start. That seems actually like a pretty sound defense.
Hi everyone, Az here from Heel vs. Babyface.
That's a nice
Must
picture.
confess, I'm not in a great mood today.
Uh-oh.
Why? Number one,
How you
didn't
nice
get a lot of
around
sleep
this-
last night.
this,
Probably a couple of hours at best because it was too hot. I was too
Ooh.
restless.
I use I get water on my shirt and on my stomach. It helps me sleep.
Without having any hay fever symptoms at all, it's been utter bliss.
I don't know what hay fever
The last
is.
2 days, itchy eyes, streaming eyes.
Okay.
It's getting me a little bit raged.
Just don't eat hay.
I decided to put this lovely picture of a couple of beautiful puppies, ladies, for your viewing pleasure.
Hey, nice try,
and
dude.
also to keep
Hey.
everyone calm and relaxed.
Okay.
Because we're also going to be dealing with a little bit of drama in the video today as well.
Oh yeah.
As you may have heard, Asmongold and T&E have had a bit of a spit spat.
Azothan and
recently.
Zoom.
And the reason why I'm giving my take on this is because I think I can come at this from a very relevant perspective.
'Cause you talk shit about you too,
An
yeah.
understanding of
Oh.
what is going on here, and I've been very slightly dragged into it. So why not give
Dragged
it a
into it.
And also because you're thirsty bitches.
Hey.
I know
They
you
are thirsty.
Hey.
And you've been poking me to
Hey.
do this. So
Self-awareness,
it's Monday,
I love it.
You know, probably the worst day of the week for a lot of people. I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna give you what you want.
This is what he asked for.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss this as well because I've got a few things that I'd like to say, if you don't mind. And I also want to get into the whole aspect of streamers watching YouTube videos, reacting to them, and how it genuinely impacts YouTube as well. Because I do think that's quite important as well. So, apparently, T&E called out Asmongold for the behaviour of his viewers, his stream viewers, and also Asmongold for not keeping them in check.
Oh, that's right.
Because apparently that's one thing that he can do. Now,
which, by the way, I want to say this again. Whenever Taliesin critiqued me and criticized me for allowing negative comments about his wife, I apologized and I fixed the situation because I thought that was a bad decision for me to do, and it was not something that I wanted to have happen. I absolutely did. I did apologize for that because it was the wrong thing to do. I shouldn't have let it happen, and I moved forward. Okay, he acknowledged that. Yeah, I did. Okay, so this idea that I'm like, yeah, again, like this, like over or whatever, it's insane.
Where I'm talking specifically about someone, you'll hear me say, I do not, in any shape, way, or form, condone you going after them. You know, when I do those videos, they are done for your entertainment purposes only, and not for anyone to dogpile on or have a go. So I disavow, as I always say, anyone that has a go at any party in this video. That is not the intention at all. I am big enough and ugly enough and old enough to take care of myself.
That's right. We the boys.
Okay, all right, that's good.
He references that his viewers have apparently had a go at himself.
Azothan.
Josh Allen, Law, World of Warcraft community manager.
Which never happened.
And Babe.
So I want to actually, I want to create a specific example of this. I don't think I ever mentioned this, right? Is that whenever, you know, the Blizzard did all the firings, there were a lot of people saying, oh, they should have fired Lore. I never said that. I never
putting
said
words
that.
in his
I didn't
mouth.
read donations that said that because I thought that would be an abuse of power. It wasn't talking about that. I'm just saying.
Some people
I
don't
never
share
said
that sympathy
I never
as
supported anything that said that. Even though I was personal friends with Caden and I had never personally talked to Lore, I still never said that.
Not everyone is as
Final
handsome.
Boss, which sounds a really weird thing to say. Hey, man, you've seen that Babe from Final Boss? Anyway, it was that dogpiling. Oh, my bad. He has this quite articulated rant, Asmongold, and is quoted as saying, "With great power comes great responsibility."
He's been drinking a lot of the cracker
because
juice.
nothing says having a rant like quoting Uncle Ben from Spider-Man. And this, and that, and, as Mother Teresa said, oof, look, I found another tea leaf. Yes, that makes people take you seriously. Asmongold has great power, but he doesn't accept that it gives him great responsibility. Now, I'm doing a slightly weird voice because, look, I'm just going to be totally honest with you. T&E's a massive hypocrite, which we'll get into shortly. Asmongold is punching down, and you must never punch down. Oh, really? We need to be better than that. I have no respect for people that punch down. Oh,
there
really?
it is.
You mustn't respect your...
Taliesin's acting out the role of Azothan.
From Final Boss TV on his stream, Bay had to leave social media for a couple of days. You should thank him. Social media's a
days off are great.
Toxic pit. True. Because there are so many effing idiots giving
I just
him
started
chisels.
socking them out.
Right, this
Chisels.
is where I'm going to interject myself, okay? Because I get people coming at me all the time saying, Az, are you going to respond to T&E? Az, are you going to say anything about what T&E is saying about you? Az, why is T&E going off at you on a video? And I get this on a semi-regular basis. And I've had this for months upon months upon months. Probably a year or more now.
Yep.
And probably going back to roughly when I had about 130,000 subscribers. I've just gone over 200,000 recently. And
Hey,
TNE
balling
has
out.
always had many more subscribers than me, around 240 to 260.
Right.
Something along those kind of lines.
So does that mean they're punching
So
down?
by his
Oh.
own
Wait.
words, he's punching down at me on a constant basis. Do I respond?
What?
No. Do I get involved in his drama? No.
Oh my God.
How do I respond? I say I just don't care. I don't care about what he says because
Wow.
I don't. I truly don't.
We don't care.
This is. Oh my God.
But to his own words, he's punching down on me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
a
but
much
he's
smaller
punching
channel
us.
than him. His videos get 100 to 200,000 odd viewers per video.
He's the little guy, by the way.
So
Little
he
guy.
gets a lot of eyes on the product. So that's a lot of people that he's preaching whatever he wants to preach. And another reason, he can say what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody invite me to
That's no problem.
To say what he wants
All
about
code
it.
0224.
Whether or not I agree with it, disagree with it, is
The A.
irrelevant. If I say something and he wants to call out one of my takes, that is up to him or her. I don't know who does the videos. To them. Should we just say them?
Them.
That's right. It's
To do so.
2019.
So I just let them get on with it. I have a pinned tweet that says, particularly because of Article 13 and all that kind of stuff, but anyone that wants to use my footage for humorous, critical, commentary, transformative purposes, go for it. Go for it. I have no problems with that whatsoever. So
Okay.
I don't care
Okay.
what he says.
There you go.
But he's well within his rights. They are well within their rights to say what they want about me. But you can't then be a massive hypocrite when it comes
Hypocrite.
back on you. Because that suddenly looks like you can give it, but you can't take it.
Can't take
Yeah.
I've had times where they've challenged me on Twitter and stuff.
Challenge.
I've got them on mute now, so I don't hear what they say. But where they've had to go on Twitter, and then I have to deal with
Yep.
all of their crazy followers on Twitter who dogpile me. And all
I
I
just
do
start
is I
stalking
just
them
end up
out.
muting a bunch of people, and so
I'm
they
just
can
like
just
every day,
scream
just-
into the void. And to be honest with you, I find it quite cathartic because it just clears out, the usual suspects. If you get where I'm coming from.
They need to do this on
It's
Twitch.
usually
They
just
need to make
one
it to where
guy.
you get banned in chat, and you see your message go into chat.
All those
and
comments
so you're typing, "Man, I fucking hate you. You're such a loser."
on his video
and you're typing that, but you're actually
about
shadow banned,
Illuminati.
and you're the only person that
They're
can see
all
your chat. And so you're sitting there talking
Azothan.
shit to somebody, and you
He
don't
pays
even
people
know that you're shadowing.
money
You have no idea at all.
to go
so you have to
post
open up a
these
second
pictures,
monitor to make sure that your
these
shit talking
images.
is actually on the screen, man. That is what Blizzard, not Blizzard, that's what
comments,
Twitch needs to do.
he
I'm
pays
actually, you know
people
what?
to
I'm going
do
to
it.
talk to somebody at
With
Twitch
the money
fucking like this week. Next
you
time I talk
donate
to somebody
to
at Twitch,
him.
maybe not this week. Next time I talk to somebody at Twitch, I am going to, I'm going to try to do that. Okay, YouTube has that. It's a great idea. They really should do that.
So it just makes my life a little bit easier at the end of the
The
day.
money she gave
But
him.
you therefore can't say, "Oh, we're getting dogpiled on Twitter. Oh, we're getting criticised on Twitter."
Yeah.
When you do it yourself to people below you, in terms of the pecking order of subscribers and views per video, it just makes you look like a hypocrite. It makes you look like somebody that can't
Sure does.
take what they give. So, he got a tweet going out here. I'd
Okay.
like to thank all of Asmund Gold's viewers currently filling up our mentions and DMs. Turn off your DMs.
I turned them
And
off.
totally proving our point about being...
If they want to fight me, they know where to find me.
exactly.
So it doesn't give you a good look, you know?
They don't come
It
back
doesn't
after
give
I
you a good
punch
look
them
when
once.
you come out with this sort of opinion. And then we have this, which I'd just like to bring out, if you don't mind. This is Mark Kern.
Oh, Mark Kern.
I like Mark.
I do too.
I think Mark is a very, very level-headed person. He was part of the OG WoW development team, lead developer, I believe. And I see the way that he deals with people on Twitter,
Yeah.
deals with people both positively and people who come at him.
Right.
And he does it in a much better manner than I'll ever be able to do. A very relaxed, calm manner. And he's always willing to hear people's point of view, whether they're a detractor or a fan. And when he gives
Seems
his
accurate.
takes on things, they usually come from a very logical, rational, reasoned place. So
Okay.
Mark's got a lot of respect. And if it wasn't for Mark, I'm not saying he's solely responsible, but I think Mark, when he threw his weight behind the whole please...
Oh, the legacy thing,
Blizzard,
yeah.
just give the people what they
Yeah.
want, which is
Exactly.
vanilla WoW. When Blizzard closed down Nostalrius, it was a very impassioned video from somebody who obviously had a big input, a big impact in the original vanilla content.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah,
it
of
did
course.
lend a good bit of credence of weight, and then you had your Soda Pop and then your Asmongold, who pushed it even further and further, plus others. I'm not trying to, diminish anyone
about me,
else's
dude.
involvement.
You're talking about me,
It was a
dude.
big, concerted effort, and lo and behold, BlizzCon 2017, classic WoW gets announced, and in 5 or 6
Dude,
weeks'
I
time,
still
or
remember
whatever,
that
it's
day,
gonna be
man.
released.
I still fucking remember that day. It was such a
lot
good
of
day.
respect for the person and whatnot. And his take on this situation is, T&E and Asmongold are at it. It seems very familiar. WoW Classic takes off, and small E-slebs go looking to stir shit up by latching onto the bigger names in drummed-up faux controversy. I'm with Asmongold on this, and it's right to
You ever
point
see
back.
that show Secret
I'm gonna
Bosses?
be honest, I don't think that they're doing it to drum up controversy. Like, maybe, but I'm not entirely sold on that being the case.
I'm Azothan's secret boss.
Which we'll get to in a second. To which T&E respond by saying, fuck off, Mark. That's how they respond to the OG WoW developer team. I'm not trying to stir up shizzle for attention. I just don't like how me and my waifu get thousands
Me and my.
of shitty
That's a lot.
messages every time he reacts one of our videos on his stream.
My wife and I.
Often.
Then why'd you host me whenever I was reacting to your video? If you didn't like it, why would you host me and then give even more people to do it? I don't understand. Like, I mean, that seems... I'm sorry, it seems like a mixed message. It does. It seems like a very, very mixed message. And
Like you don't know
any
what you're
reasonable
doing with
person
your
would see
life.
that. And like, I had concerns about watching his videos, and it was the same issue that I had with Hazel's videos, right? Like he hosted me because you disagreed.
Oh, yeah.
Midlife
Don't forget,
crisis.
Didn't he slide in like an inside joke about you having to pay Pilaf $500?
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yes, he did in one of his videos. Yeah, he did.
I mean, he clearly knew you were gonna watch the video.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like you had a problem with it then.
Odd.
So that's interesting.
Very interesting.
I want the opposite of attention. I want him to leave us alone.
Which is why you spent the past 2 days tweeting about it non-stop for every waking hour of the day.
Well, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
That's just an out-and-out lie.
Just
You
a
don't
lie.
get thousands every time he reacts to a video. If you did, Twitch would be involved, YouTube would be involved, Twerk
FBI would be involved.
Police would probably be involved. So that's just a big fat lie.
Yeah.
When you have to resort to this sort of
Yeah, that's true.
hyperbolic terminology, again, it doesn't make people sympathise with you because it clearly looks as daft as it sounds. My own personal opinion and my own personal experience with Asmongold and people watching him watching my videos on his channel, I think Zach is fair. Whether Zach agrees or disagrees with my video is irrelevant.
Hey!
I think he's fair. And again, just like I said with T&E, he has every right to give his opinion about my content.
Yep. Because it's
Where
public.
do we draw the line at punching up and punching down? Where? Where do we draw that? Do we say, oh, once you've got to a certain level of money, a certain level of viewers, you can no longer comment on other people? Well, that's not fair, because then that means everyone who's down can just constantly punch up and up and up.
Yep.
It's not
And
good.
you can't respond. You can't retort.
Rationalizing
That's
harassment.
not fair. If you're going to provoke conversation, if you want to truly talk about something, there's got to be a two-way flow. And I've seen that Zach has liked some of my videos. He's giggled at them.
Yep.
And I know that he's criticised some of them.
Yes.
And that's entirely his right to do so.
Yes.
How has his audience responded to me? I've had no problem with his audience whatsoever. None whatsoever.
No problems with Zoom
I
SF.
can't even recall. Legitimately, I cannot even recall a negative encounter with them.
Negative encounters.
Because I think, regardless of whether or not you're intelligent or not so intelligent, and when I say not so intelligent, I'm talking more academically orientated, whether you're young or old, I think people are very perceptive about others. Yes, you can be naive, but I think for the most part, people are very perceptive. They can truly see somebody's motivation, and therefore they can truly see where somebody's coming from a position that they truly believe in, or if they're a phony.
A phony?
That's just
Who would have
trying
thought?
to get views on their channel, or purposely trying to cause controversy, or purposely trying to cause a reaction. I think they can see the genuine motivation of the content creator. And if somebody comes across as disingenuous, if somebody comes across as a phony, then that, I believe, opens yourself more up for this sort of business of some sort of confrontation than not.
Yeah, of course.
And in actual fact,
Like
I
he's
remember
doing it to
Zach,
himself.
hosting me two or 3 years, I don't know, two and a half years ago or something.
Is this a 6.2?
When I was just playing Final Fantasy 15. And I had,
just playing the
100 people
game.
watching me.
I remember
Something
that.
like that. I think it's before I'd come back to WoW.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And I was fishing. I was doing the most mundane thing you could possibly do, which was fish. So I was just in this completely uber relaxed sort of frame of mind. You know, not very energetic, just kind of like doing my thing. And then Zach hosted me for like, I don't know, at the time I think it was like 3,500 people, something along those kind of
Invite me
lines.
around with the rare up again.
You know, nothing like the numbers that he gets today, which is like 10 times the amount. And
I'm doing pretty well.
Reaction did I get from his audience?
Yep.
Sing Ocean Man.
3 candy.
For Zaz.
Oh yeah!
Sing
Wait, I
Ocean
actually
Man
remember
for
this. Holy shit!
So I did. And we had some banter. And I think something ridiculous like 1,500 to 2,000 of them actually stuck around to the end of the stream.
Yeah, there you go.
And we were just talking about this and that and the other. So my own personal my own personal response to his audience has actually been a very positive one from my perspective. But even if Zach has been critical of the video, I haven't had any comeback from them.
Okay.
You know, maybe they could see my point of view and still see Zach's point of view.
Yes.
Maybe some people actually agree with my point of view and didn't agree with Zach's point of view.
That's true.
People,
That
you know,
happens.
can have their own opinion. Also, let's get on to the topic of actually reacting to videos. Streamers reacting to videos from YouTubers and the effect that it has. Does it either boost a channel or does it take viewers away from your channel? I would say neither. I don't think it boosts the responses to your video, and I don't think it has a detrimental effect as well.
Okay.
Why? Because if somebody is going to watch your content, they're going to come directly to your content. Regardless of whether or not somebody else is talking about it, they'll still view it in their own time, in their own manner, and they'll respond to it accordingly.
Okay.
Either tick it a like, a dislike, a comment, whatever it may be, or just watch it and move on. If they are watching your content through somebody else and through somebody else alone, it's because they're wanting to consume the content of that person. They're wanting the take of that person, the person who's watching the video. And then they wouldn't come to you anyway. So there's going to be a ton of people who are watching the videos that he reacts to.
I think that could be true, right? I mean, that could be true. Personally, I think it really just, if it's a net neutral, it's probably because some people watch my reaction instead of the original video, and then I think there's also other people that watch the reaction and then they continue watching his videos directly later on. And which group is larger? I think they generally just probably cancel each other out. For very, very small content creators, I do think that watching their videos is probably a net positive. But for anybody with, let's say, over 100,000 subs, in many chances, it is probably just neutral.
And they wouldn't come to the source regardless. They wouldn't come to me. They won't come to T&E. They won't come to Nixium. They won't come to anyone else. They were just watching it because they want to have Zach's Asmongold's take on that video.
Yeah.
And because you go through the video, you pause it, you give your thoughts or whatever it may be, you have your discussion at the end, you are behaving in a transformative manner. You are watching that bit of content and you are turning it into something. Right.
Yes, that's right.
I've watched this.
I'm turning it into content.
This is my opinion. This is my take.
That's the way it goes.
It's not one of these old school reactions where you just have somebody sat in the corner going, ooh.
Oh, dude, you remember that back on YouTube in like 2012? I remember there was these two girls who would sit there and watch videos.
And in one cup.
And I thought it was the dumbest fucking thing ever. And they'd just be like doing their nails or something, and there was nothing at all about it. Yeah, I forgot what it was even called. Doesn't even matter. Reply girls. That's what it was. And they would just say nothing at all. It was the weirdest fucking thing. And I remember every video everybody hated too because they were just so fucking bad. It was so weird, man. Ray William Johnson. I don't remember who it actually was. Okay, I have no idea. Can somebody invite me to a realm where Russ feathers up? I need to kill him on this character too.
Okay, next video. No, that's not transformative. No. If it provokes a discussion, if it provokes some points that you need to address, then that is transformative, and they've got every right to do that sort of thing. So I ain't got any problem with that whatsoever. So, let's just kind of wrap this up, because I know this has been going around a little bit and around a little bit. The simple fact is, to me, this looks like somebody who can't take what they give. Somebody that is quite happy to be open, to criticise others who are below them, because they understand that they're not likely to get that much blowback from that situation. But once they go after somebody who is high on the pecking order, that person, I believe, has every right to respond.
That's right.
Just because they have a high number doesn't make you impervious to criticism back.
Oh, wow. What's that?
Especially when you're in the same field of work.
True.
Especially when you do the same thing. You stream, you do YouTube videos. You want to go after a streamer, you want to go after a YouTuber. You are leveling yourself open to receive criticism from those sources back on yourself.
Interesting
And when
opinion.
you get blowback, when you get that criticism back on yourself, suddenly you want to play victim.
Oh.
But hey, it's not the first hypocrite we're ever going to find. It won't be the last. Either. I think Zach's got every right to respond. I will say one thing. There was one thing I will say to Ender. There is one point that I actually do agree with T&E on. And that point is doing the spit emote on people who bought the store mount. Now, I'm no fan of store mounts. You know that. But I don't think we need to go into that level. You know, if somebody wants to purchase it, it's their money. They can do with as they want. So, yeah. What I'm trying to say is Zach's not infallible, you know?
No, of course not. I say wrong shit all the time.
That wasn't even your idea. That was my idea.
To not make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes.
I think it's a great
Everyone
idea,
makes
though.
mistakes. We're human. We learn from it. And I don't think that was a take, and that is something I do agree with T&E on. I don't think that was a good take by Asmongold to say. I didn't see his video. I know that he did a video on the store mount and the goodwill and all that kind of stuff. But
and by
that is something that you've got to learn from.
And Cat Dan.
And that is something which you've got to think to yourself, was it the right thing to do? Now, I don't think it was the right thing to do, but if he still thinks it is, that is his prerogative to do so. It's not a breach of any TOS, because at the end of the day, that emote exists in the game. So whether I don't think just from a
imagine thinking emoting somebody as harassment.
What's the best way to phrase this? Just from a commonsensical, I think would be the best way. Point of view, I don't think it was the cleverest thing to do. If Blizzard had any issue with it, they wouldn't have the emote in the game in the first place.
Oh, wow!
It is there to be provocative. It's
Yeah.
there for the role players as well.
Yeah.
But it is a provocative thing, so if it's used in a provocative manner, I can understand, even though I don't personally agree. But yeah, if you wanna give it, you gotta be open to taking it. It's as simple as that. So there we go.
You
I
live
think
by the
I'll wrap
sword, you
this
die
up.
by the
Hope
sword.
you
That's the
enjoyed
way it goes.
the video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch live streaming. Links are in
Live by the
description
sword,
down below.
Azothan.
And I'll be back with some more
Die
stuff
by
very
the
soon. You
sword.
take care. Bye for now.
And my stick
Okay.
blocks out your
Okay,
sun.
alright, there's a lot to talk about here. Just a second. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna link the video to you guys. Here's the video right here. There's a video. Now, I don't want to, again, I don't want to get into the spit thing. I think that it's important to shame people who support the individual practices, because that's where you have to stop it at. If people keep doing it, if you create a negative social, it's like wearing a MAGA hat, you know? Is that people don't want to wear MAGA hats as much in public because they're worried about a negative social consequence. If you create a social consequence for something, you diminish its influence. So spitting on people is a social consequence, and if you create that, then less people are going to do it. If less people do it, it'll make storm mounts less prevalent. Okay, that's like logically... That is why I decided to do that. We can talk about that all day, but the point is still the same. Thank you very much, Az. I really fucking appreciate it. Thank you for the video. I do want to say, guys, I do really appreciate everybody coming out. Actually, you know what? We wanted to do TOS, right, McConnell?
Yeah, only plate.
Yeah, so anyway, so by telling people to spit on storm mounts, you're being an influencer? Well, yeah, I mean, by definition. I mean, but yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine. But the point, obviously, is all of Asmongold will respond to punching down thing. Instead of punch up, punch back. 100% Asmongold will react to this. You know, the drama got real when Hill versus Babyface reports on it. Streamers aren't responsible for their audience actions unless they're actively promoting specific behaviors. I love how the video is seen just by seeing the thumbnail. And Hill versus Babyface reacts to Asmongold's reaction to Taliesin's reaction to Asmongold's original reaction to Taliesin. We have to go deeper. I'm sure we will tomorrow. I 100% agree with you, Az. I was wondering if Hill's going to hit back at TV's constant jabs at him. TNA throws hate like a little child. Somebody said that they apologized. If somebody wants, they did.
Yeah.
Can you give me a link to the clip?
Sure.
I would like to say sorry again to Asmongold for
At least Taliesin has the balls to
talking
say
about it on
sorry.
Stream Talk in that kind of way, and being stupid enough to think that he wouldn't see it while we formulated that idea.
I saw it
And
all.
it appearing to him like we were talking specifically about him, and me being stupid enough to do that, and using hypotheticals, because we were using him as an example because he's the biggest WoW streamer, and I would like to say
What I want to
something
hear is not excuses.
Okay.
I want to hear what you're gonna do to make it better.
All right, there you go. You won, dude. You apologize and
Bitch.
You
Of
accepted it.
Tank Man is one of the most famous images of the 20th century. It was taken during the 1989 Tiananmen massacre. But who was the Tank Man? No one knows. For nearly 30 years, people have wondered what became of him. But his identity and his fate are still a mystery. This mystery lingers primarily because the rulers of China have made every effort to suppress the truth about what happened at Tiananmen. People in China today who dare to remember face brutal persecution. Just after the massacre, the Chinese government tried to use this photo as evidence that the military response to the student demonstrators have been restrained. The authorities praised the military actions and called the demonstrators thugs. But the world was not fooled. Part of the immediate power of this image was not just that it showed one man standing vulnerable in front of a column of tanks, but also that the whole world knew about events that had preceded this moment. The Tank Man had so far survived a massacre, and yet here he was, still risking his life. I was a student protester in Tiananmen Square when the massacre began, late on the night of June 3rd. At one point, my friends and I were so close to the soldiers that we could shout up to them in their trucks and tell them not to shoot. We told them that they had no idea what was going on here, and we tried to touch their hearts by singing the songs that every Chinese would know. But when they received the order, they just opened fire. I witnessed the many people killed, including the 11 students who were chased and run over by tanks. The tankman photo was taken the next day, on June 5th, while the massacre was still going on. By any measure, this picture is an image of heroism. But how many heroes do we see here? Nearly 9 years after the photo was taken, the writer Picolaya said, "The heroes of a tank picture are two: the unknown figure who risked his life by standing in front of the juggernaut, and the tank driver who rose to the moral challenge by refusing to mow down his compatriot." Not only did the tank driver refuse to kill, he undoubtedly disobeyed orders and risked and perhaps received a punishment in the service of his countryman's life. He is an equal hero. I call him a tankman too. Victimized by the same evil force, these two heroic tankmen remind us that those who stand opposite us are not necessarily our enemies. Common sense, conscience, and humanity can prevail even under brutal circumstances. I unfortunately lost the sight of the truth during a very extreme moment. After watching troops kill people on the early morning of June 4th, I saw a young soldier on Chang'an Avenue near Tiananmen Square, standing all by himself. He was not wearing a helmet. He didn't have a gun. He looked just like a teenager. The people I was with, who were sad and angry, chased him because he was a soldier. I gave him a punch, and more people gathered around him and beat him. When the crowd knocked him to the ground, he yelled, "I didn't do it. I didn't shoot." I realized a tragedy was taking place, but it was too late to stop the violence. I left the scene without looking back. A few minutes later, I knew from the loud shouts behind me he had been killed, and I began to cry. Like all other soldiers, that teenager had been forced to come to Beijing to massacre protesting students and civilians. Like us, he was powerless to stop the tragedy. After conscience, he had probably refused to kill, choosing instead to be deserter. If so, he was another tankman in the opposite camp. He is real hero, but I was not. I let anger get the better of me. I have seen my fellow students crushed beneath tanks, I had seen people whose only crime was calling for a democratic future shot and killed just 3 feet away from me. So when I saw him only as my enemy, and I punched him. This might be the biggest thing of my life. I cannot imagine the pain he suffered when he was dying, or what was on his mind when he was being killed by his angry and frightened countrymen. For nearly 30 years, I have been mourning him. I think about his family, and I still look to a day when I find them and share my guilt. The Tiananmen tankmen taught me a lot. Heroic feats often happen in moments that go unnoticed. In June of 1989, the streets of Beijing witnessed many Chinese, like the tankmen, standing face to face with soldiers that are killing. And on those streets, there were also some soldiers, like the second tankman, and like the deserter, who opposed the orders to kill. Remembering this, I'm convinced that no matter how difficult the road ahead of us, the direction of China's future must be towards democracy. The natural human desires for dignity and freedom that serve the foundation of all democratic movements are not only present in us, the freedom fighters. In every heart, there is goodness. That is where our hope comes from. And so, those who happen to be in our enemy's camp are not necessarily our enemies. We must overcome the existing enemy mentality that poisons our spirits, incites cruel mortal struggles, destroys our tolerance and humanity, and hinders our progress to a better society. Opposite to us, there are always those who will refuse to betray their consciences. Any police or military officer, indeed anyone in the authoritarian state machinery, can be a hero if they are willing to raise their guns just an inch high when ordered to carry an act of suppression. Their names may be unknown, but they, like the 2 tank men, and like the teenager soldier, will be heroes of the historical process. I started by saying we still don't know who the tank man is or what happened to him. The same is true of the second tank man. And I don't think we should ever stop looking for any of them, because there are always tank men all around us. And if we know this, perhaps we might find it easier when the times calls for it to aspire to what is best in us, to look to our reserves of courage and compassion, and to try to be tank men ourselves. Thank you.
In China, if you talk about Tiananmen Square, the government, they come and get you, they take you away, and you're never seen again. Like they just come up and they grab you, just for like anything mentioned about it. If you get it in your internet, there's guys sitting there just keyword. Anytime that word pops up, it shows up in their database from this area, from this place, at this time. And then they send someone to go investigate. And they come up with their guns and they're like, "You're coming with me." And they grab them with a bag and take them away. That's why we need the tank men to say no.